Hi, it's Dr. Crone. Today we're going to look at the Electoral College. I'd have to say this is one of the topics that students and most American citizens find puzzling and confusing. Let's try and understand it, okay? So in the US, when we elect the president, it's not really one large presidential election, even though it seems like it is. Really, a US presidential election is composed of 50 individual state elections, all taking place on the same day. The results of those state elections, combined together, determine the results of the Electoral College. And that's what actually selects the president. Let's take a look at how this works. This map shows the number of electors that were assigned to each state in the 2016 election. Each state gets a number of electors in the Electoral College equal to their number of House of Representatives members, which varies by state population, plus that state's number of senators, which is always 2. That means a really large population state like California or Texas gets a large number of votes in the Electoral College, while a small state like Maine or Wyoming only gets a few. Each state gets to decide for itself how it chooses those electoral votes. Occasionally, the national popular vote turns out differently than the result of the Electoral College. In fact, some political scientists jokingly refer to the national popular vote as the beauty contest because it doesn't really determine the winner of the presidential election. In 2016, Hillary Clinton received the most votes in the nation, but Donald Trump received the most votes in the Electoral College. The same situation also happened in 2000 when George W. Bush lost the popular vote but won the Electoral College. It has only happened 3 other times in history before George Bush, all during the 1800s. So how do states assign electors? In most states, each political party who has a candidate on the ballot for president puts together a slate of electors that that party wants to vote for president. These electors are usually people that average citizens don't know, but who are prominent within the state party. Then whichever party wins the state popular vote gets to send all their party's electors to the Electoral College. In 2016, Donald Trump won the popular vote in Ohio. About 52% of Ohio voters chose Trump. That meant that Trump got to win all of the 18 electors in Ohio, the Republican slate. This is called a winner-take-all system. No matter how slim the electoral margin was in Ohio, the winning candidate gets all the electoral votes. This system, which is used by almost all states except for Maine and Nebraska, is what can make the Electoral College results different from the national popular vote. The Electoral College magnifies the margin of victory within each state. You might be saying, wow, that sounds like a weird system. You might even say, that doesn't sound fair. If so, you're not alone. Many Americans think that this is a weird system, and some are even angry about it. It's been an especially hot topic since the Trump victory in 2016. So why do we have a system like this? The framers of the Constitution chose the Electoral College for 2 reasons. First, because they were basically afraid of people like you and me. They thought that if they let the people vote directly for the president, the people would make a bad choice. They feared that voters would choose a dictator or a hothead who would try to take away money or property from the elite. This wasn't such an unrealistic fear, since during the French Revolution, the people eventually did choose a dictator who led a bloody class war that ended up with the aristocracy losing their money, property, and in many cases their lives. That was going on at the same time as our Constitution was being decided upon. So our framers decided on an indirect system to choose the president. Let the people choose the electors, they said, and then the electors, who they imagined would be wealthy, educated people like themselves, will be responsible for choosing the president. The other reason we have this system is because of federalism. Remember that at the Constitutional Convention, The states were afraid of giving up their independence, individuality, and power. They knew that a national popular vote for president would overrepresent the highly populated, more urban states. So this system ensured that each state would have individual freedom in how to run their elections and would have independent influence in the Electoral College. So is the Electoral College in this day and age a good thing? Is it fair? Is it still necessary? These are all questions that experts and regular citizens alike are considering and arguing about today. The problem is made more thorny by the fact that the two main political parties are strongly affected by the rules of the Electoral College game. Currently, the Electoral College gives a slight advantage to the Republican Party. This is because rural states and small population states are slightly overrepresented in the Electoral College, and small rural states tend to be majority Republican. What do we mean by overrepresented? No matter how small a state is, it gets at least 3 Electoral College votes. For example, Wyoming's population is quite a bit smaller than the population of Columbus, Ohio even, but voters there as a group get 3 whole Electoral College votes. And Wyoming, like many of the small rural states, tends to be full of Republicans. Now, if you're not a Republican, this might make you upset. If so, you're not alone. In 2019, a Gallup organization poll found that 55% of Americans favor changing this system by amending the Constitution. Not surprisingly, 84% of Democrats approve, while only 24% of Republicans do. Amending the Constitution would be one way to make this change. It's pretty difficult to change the Constitution, thanks to the framers, but it has happened 27 times in the past. It takes a 2/3 vote in both houses of Congress to start the process, and then 3/4 of the states have to ratify the amendment, either by a vote of their state legislatures or by a popular referendum of the people. Currently, since Republicans hold a lot of power in Congress and the majority of state legislatures, the odds of this amendment succeeding in the current political system are very low. Another way to change the Electoral College is a state-by-state process. Since states are allowed to select their electors in whatever way they see fit. 48 states use the winner-take-all system, but 15 states, as of June 2019, have made a change for the 2020 elections. They will award all their electoral votes to the winner of the national popular vote. This is called the National Popular Vote Interstate Compact. You can click on the link on the screen to read more about this. Another possible change would be for states to award electors proportionally. This means the number of electors a candidate won would reflect the percentage of state popular votes they won. If Ohio had had that system in 2016, Trump would have won 9 or possibly 10 of Ohio's electoral votes. Clinton would have won 8 or possibly 7, and Gary Johnson, the Libertarian, would have won 1. Time to pause at the end of this mini lecture and reflect on what you've learned. First, list 3 important takeaways from this video. Then, write briefly on the prompt above. What do you think of the Electoral College? Should it be changed? Should it remain the same? Do your opinions stem from your political party preference? Would you feel the same way about the Electoral College if your party preference was different? Got it? All right. Now you're ready to debate this topic with your fellow Americans. Good luck.